Thank you for joining me for yet another unboxing video, and today we have the first edition of Skull Tales, brought to you by Radica Games and 4 Moon Studio. Skull Tales. Skull Tales is a pirate adventure miniatures board game. Choose your pirate army, 6 different archetypes: the sea wolf, the cutthroat, the lookout, the surgeon, the gunner, or the voodoo shaman. Get on board this Caribbean exploring adventure. Fight the sea's weirdest creatures, supernatural beings, or the fearsome royal marines. Sail in search of loot to gain the confidence of your crew and thus preventing mutiny, and achieve the greatest prestige as a pirate. Become the captain of your own ship. Again, this game is for 1 to 4 players, for ages 14 plus. Takes about 2 hours or 120 minutes to complete the game. For more information, you can go to radicalgames.com. So, let's crack this bad boy open and see what kind of goodness we have on the inside. Again, this is the first edition of Skull Tales. There's a second edition that came out, and it's currently on Kickstarter for the 3rd edition as well. So let's take a look at this. We'll start off with the core rulebook, Skull Tales. So we have an introduction, how to play. We have the adventure phase. We have the adventure track, map tokens, destiny points, prestige track clips. We have prestige markers, wound markers, goal tokens, fallen foe tokens, throwing weapon tokens. All kinds of tokens are included in the game. Then we have the different character sheets. Again, full color character sheets, which we'll show you also as we're unboxing, and then breakdown of how those look. We have enemy sheets. There are use of 6-sided die. You have difficulty rolls. You have confronted rolls. You have exploration cards. You have retractable blades. You have magic cards, legendary item cards, and all different kinds of firearms, combat values, all the different things that you're going to have throughout the context of the game. You have setting up your adventure, how to set up the first game that you're going to put together. You got the turn sequence, the events, the characters' turns. Then you have movement. You have action points, different skills that each of your characters have. You can shove someone, you could run, you can leap, you can cross lines, you can search, switch gear, pick up stuff, open doors, close doors, breakaway, catching your breath, reviving, reloading firearms, and exploring. Of course, line of sight is very, very important. They give you a nice little board here that shows you what line of sight looks like during your attacks, which takes up 2 action points. Give you different examples of how to do combat, whether it be firing or close combat. Of course, whether you get stunned, you get wounded, all those things are talked about. Then, of course, you go on to your enemy's turn, the initiative, the movement in combat, how they're going to go do that. And of course, then you have the end of adventure phase. Then you have character conditions that you're going to be putting into, supplementary rules. You have your town rules, rules for non-player characters or NPCs. You have additional play modes. You have characters record sheet. You have voyage phase, different components that are going to be part of that. Then you also have setting up the voyage, how to do that. How you have a ship which has a hold, has what the speed of your craft is, your firepower, your carrying and fighting capacities. So all these things, again, you're going to be talking about doing land combat, and you're also doing sea combat as well, and traveling from place to place. Then you have the crew. Then you have your game turns. You have events that are going to take place. You have your captain's turn. You have the enemy's turn. Again, the enemies, the sea enemy sheet. So as you're on your ship going through the water, you're going to come into contact with some different enemies. Here you also have different types of ships. You have the merchant cog, you have the Galilean, you have the Coast Guard brigantine, you have the sea monsters, you have whales, you have whirlpools, you have ghost ships and islands. And then you have your exploring chart, and then the end of the voyage phase. And then you have different skills that you can have, and then you can go to port. You can go to Tortuga Island, what to do on Tortuga Island. And then going through here, you have all different sets of skills. and different charts that you have here for different ship types, for fixes improvement of the ship, and of course special gear that you want to add to make your ship better. So it could be a one-shot game, or it can be an ongoing campaign mode as well. And then other skills that you can pick up, again, each of them have a certain skill point cost. So as you're advancing in the throughout the campaign, you'll get some extra skill sets, and you could choose different skills for your captain and for the other pirates that are along in your ship. And then you have an index to find where the things are, and all the credits for the great people who brought you this game. So there you go. You got your Skull Tales. Then we're going to put that book to the side for a second. Then we have our campaign book, which is called Shades of the Caribbean. So as we're doing that, we're going to go through this. We have the adventure book. It gives you a little background information about how to lay tiles and what you're going to be doing with that. Then you have the Secret of Captain Jones as your first adventure. Then you have the Awakening of Darkness. You have the Exile. You have the Adventure 4, which is the Alchemical Glass. Now again, they're all set the same way. It gives you a little bit of fluff information. Tells you what you're going to need, the enemies you're going to have, a lost enemy you're going to have, your tiles that you're going to use, your charts that you're going to need to have, starting tiles in the cave. Some part of it's going to be in the city. Some of it's going to be inside a cave. Probably just going to flip tiles for that. And then it tells you what your winning conditions would be at the bottom there. Adventure 5 is the Doomed Island. Then the Lord of the Paths. The Pirates of Honor. The Emissary of Yemaya. Strange Alliance. Shipwreck is another annex we have here. And then we have Escaping Death. So that is, and then in the back, you basically have a copy of the different tiles, which you have, which shows, so we have village tiles, you have special tiles, you have the dungeon, you have the crypt, cemetery, a cellar, a cave, some temple, you have some island, and of course you have the big map for the sea. So you need all that stuff for this book of adventure. Then you have an additional book for adventure, which is The Devil's Cauldron. Again, explains to you how to use the book. Description of more additional tiles, which can be added in, which is quicksand, the hanging bridge, fog, a geyser. And then you go on to your adventures. You have Adventure 1, Within the Flames, Devil Island, Temple of Horror, and you have Lambskin and Hell's Well. Again, they are set up identical to it would be in the Shades of the Caribbean book as well. So you have 3 tomes. You have your core rule book, and you have your 2 expansions. You have Shades of the Caribbean and your Devil's Cauldron, or I should say those are your adventure books. Not expansions, but adventure books. You also have a considerable amount of cards here. We'll start with the player guide cards first. All right, so let's start with those. You have your actions. On the other side, you have your village phase goals. So let's take a look at your actions. So what we got here, it's a little hard to see. You got attack, breakaway, catch breath, cuss, explore, leap, movement, open door, pick up, use or drop, search. You got shove, switch gear, reload firearm, or revive. And of course you have just straight out run. Then you have your voyage phase card as well, which there's a lot of stuff on here. Mutiny starts off among the crew. Sails of the pirate ship receive 1 impact. Holds of the pirate ship receives 2 impacts. Crew loses all provisions. Crew loses 5 morale. Crew gets 2 more provisions during the voyage. All spaces up to column number 6 in the pirate ship's hold are occupied. The pirate ship engages in 2 naval combats. Pirate ship is sunken or the captain surrenders. The pirate ship's hold receives 4 impacts. The pirate ship repairs some impact during the voyage. The crew loses 2 pirate squads. The crew adds 1 PS during the voyage, or pirate squad. The crew loses all the rum. 2 weather events happen during the voyage, and of course the crew loots booty from an enemy ship. So that's some options you have for your voyage, your voyage phase goals. So those are goals that you have. So there you go. So you got your action sheet and you've got your voyage goal sheet as well. So we'll put that over here. Then you have your character cards. You got the skipper card. You have two, you have front and back. Voodoo Shaman, Bounty Hunter, Avenger, Sea Dog, the Cook, the Surgeon, the Cutthroat, the Captain's Daughter, the Lookout, the Gunner. Then we have a Boot Biter. Now these are some of your villains. You have the Boot Biter, the Longshade, and then you have your ships. You have the Galleon, you have a Ghost Ship, you have the Island, you have a Sea Monster, you have a Coast Guard Brigantine. Then, of course, you have your Merchant Cog, and you have another quick reference sheet. This is going to be Dark Claw, and in the back it has a quick reference sheet. Voyage, Provisions, Morale. On the back there it says Pirate Squad and their abilities as well. So let's take a look at one of these individually. So we're going to take a look at we have a Dark Claw, which is obviously a creature we're going to be fighting. Gives you all the again, all these icons are explained to you explicitly in the core rulebook. So this is going to give you all the stats that you need to know to run this creature here. It can attack twice each turn. Down here, it ignores the first wound it receives from an attack. So first wound doesn't count. Okay, there's your Dark Claw. On the back here, you also have a Cannibal. You have the Damned. You have a Mummy. You have a Skeleton. You have a Royal Marine. You have an Officer. You have the Whirlpool. You have a Whale. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these rough that. Again, these are your creature cards, which are all set up the same way. And then we're going to, so again, Bootier, the Longshade, and again, in the back, they have additional items. They have a Whirlpool, and gives you the information regarding how to handle Whirlpool when you're in that part of the adventure. You have the Boutier, and then you have a Whale. You have the Galleon. On the back, you also have an Officer. Again, all the stat lines are here. Again, you're going to have to look that up for all the icons are explained to you in the core rulebook. Again, the Royal Marines on the same tile have +1 movement because he's the leader, and he ignores insults. That's your Officer. Then you also have your Royal Marine, again, set up exactly the same way. Let's take a look, and then back of here we have the Ghost Ship. But let's take a look at one of these ship cards real quick. So it says 5/6, 5/6, not sure what that means. Maybe if there's 5 or 6 players, not sure. But again, it's going to have all your stats that you need. Again, icons are explained in the rulebook. And of course, these are right here. Obviously, they're tracking something. It could be damage to the sails, damage to the actual ship itself, the firing of the different, are their sails right there, 5/6. So again, you're going to have to read the rulebook to see how to use these actual cards that you have here. So again, these are basically, those were your villains and some of the ships that you're going to be running into. Again, Coast Guard Brigantine, 4/6, 5/6. So I'm assuming that might be players. 5/6, 5/6. Not sure though. Sea Monster, 3/6, or maybe when you're rolling on damages, that could be it as well. You're rolling a D6. And then the island tells you. Let's take a look at the island card a little closer. Back there. That's the Ghost Ship. All right, let's take a look what it says. Island. If you choose to explore the island, place your ship on the closest island on its lettered square. Then you're going to explore. You're going to roll some dice to see what you're going to find out. Take a 2d6 roll for each pirate on this column and check the results. 12 going from 2 to 12. And then repairing, if you repair your ship, 1d6 roll, check on the table, what did you repair on your ship, so while you're docked. So that's some other things that you're going to need to do there. And then we have our gunner. Again, endurance, artillery, blunderbuss, grenade, and axe. Not sure what these mean, but all the icons are explained to you again with a point value, and it gives you the. So you have a gunner that's worth 10. Maybe if he's a leader, he's worth 25. So that's interesting. So again, it tells you what his special rules are. It tells you what his options are for when he has an action. He has 3 actions, or maybe 3 wounds. Again, all these icons are explained in the core rulebook. So again, you can be a gunner. You can be the lookout. Again, front and back. You could be the captain's daughter. You could be the cutthroat. You can be the surgeon. You can be the cook. You could be the old sea dog. You could be the Avenger, which looks like he's a hero. The Avenger, worth 15 points. Oh, another bad guy is the Bounty Hunter. And flip that over. You got the Bounty Hunter. Or maybe he's not a bad guy. I'm not sure. Maybe you can use that as bad guy or a good guy. Okay, so we got Bounty Hunter. You have the Voodoo Shaman. And you got the Skipper. So those are the character cards which are included in this game. Then we have a nice book here of sheets to fill out for your characters. You got your type, your name, your player, skill set. You got right hand, can I equip left hand, subtract from your intelligence statistic. So these might be where you're being damaged. That could be they lose 1 AP permanently and subtracts 1 from his agility skill. So if he gets wounded in his feet, gets wounded in his hands, or gets wounded in the head. Again, different icons up here. Then your gear that you got there. Captaincy, ship's name, and the different icons here. So again, it's a way to keep track of all the stuff that you get throughout the context of the game, to track how you're advancing throughout the context of the game or through the campaign. And we also have some punch outs here. Nice thick cardboard punch outs. As you say, high quality, punch them out, they go right back in, no problem whatsoever. And that's the back of those. And then we have a large board of punch outs, of lots and lots of tokens. And we have multiples of each, as you can tell. Going across, up and down, go down to here, get the last couple of rows down here. Then if you take that, you flip it over. Looks like walls. You got some crates. Again, some of them stay identically the same, some of them are different, fronts and backs are different. So again, Skull Tales. This is the first edition of the board game. Let's move this over here a little bit. So let me put that token sheet up there. Put this token sheet down here. Oh, I'm gonna put this on top of there like that. And got a lot of stuff in here. So just a little bit so you can start seeing everything as it starts, as they say, piling up. We have our time tracker and various tracker that we need for the game, as it mentioned. So it goes on the bottom, it goes from 1 to 10. From here it goes from 10 all the way up to 30. And again, for the mass there you got 1 to 5, obviously. So 4 to 6 for your crew members here. So I'm assuming this is for the boat, is when it's being shot at, how many damage it can take across the board, how much damage it could take total as a ship is probably 30 points. For your mast, where depending on where you're getting hit and things of that nature. So that's pretty cool. I do like that. In the back here, looks like it's timer for when you're on the island and you're doing different things. Maybe you got 20 rounds to get done before you get captured or something like that. That's pretty cool. I like that. And down here, I don't know what these indicate. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Not sure. So we're gonna have to try to figure this out as well. So there you go. So it's definitely a tracker for the game, so that's cool too. And then we have a considerable large quantity. Again, you're talking about, it looked like it was three or four different areas. You got the water area, you got the island, you got the temples. So there's a lot of tiles that are included in this game. So we're going to start off with the large tiles. So again, very, very well done. Nice, thick cardboard. Really, really beautiful tiles. Beautiful, beautiful tiles. And on the other side, you have basically your locations for the islands that you're going to be stopping by. Oh, looks like that's upside down. Oops. So you got letters F, E, F, G, H, and I. So different islands you could stop at. So it looks like town, and looks like it's the town and the sea. So again, a lot of detail on the maps. 1-inch squares. If you're using this for a role-playing game, it'll be 5 feet per inch, 1-inch square. And then we have the hex grids that are on here. So it looks like we have A, C, B, and I, it looks like. Yeah. I think that's an I. Oh, N. I think that's an N? I think it's an N. N. There, well, A, B, C, and then N. All right. Again, when you're going through the scenario books, it tells you exactly how you're going to set up all of your tiles and everything else like that. And here on the back, we have our, again, got a little bit of a D up there. You got P, you got, that looks like a Q, R, and a T. And S is down here. So the different islands you can be visiting. And again, more area for your troops to go investigate. Actually, for the pirates to find some of their booty. Or buy stuff when they go to the new terrain. Or go stop into the new area. You might hear some kids yelling in the background. I live off of Main Street, so you might hear a couple of kids out there. It's the last days of summer vacation, so everybody's out having a good time. All right, so we're going to flip this over as well. And then we've got our islands here as well. We got K, we got J, K, M, and W. And it looks like an L over there, maybe. There you are. So that's all of your large tiles. And let's see if we can figure this out. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, going 10 going across. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so it's a 10, all of them are 10 by 10 boards. These are 10 by 10 boards. Okay. And then we also have smaller tiles. We have a ton. Oh, wait a minute here. Oh, we have some more. Hold on a second. So let me, before we bring up the small tiles, let's finish up with the large tiles. So we gotta get that open. All right. So we've got a couple more of the large tiles coming at you right now. So here's another one right here. Really, really beautiful tiles. Really, really nicely done. And then, of course, we have more of the C map. So here we have R, T, S, P, Q. Oh, looks like there might be some double of tiles. Sometimes they do that. They do that for the if it's a Kickstarter, because again, this was a Kickstarter. I did not back the Kickstarter, but this was a Kickstarter that came out a while back. And the reality is, I think we saw a PQ. I'm not sure. Did we? Yep, there it is. So let's take a look. Is this the same tile? Because sometimes they'll give you an extra set of tiles. Yep. So you get 2 sets of the same tile. Yeah, sometimes they'll do that as one of the add-ons that you get, where you get the same tiles again. Well, this one looks a little different here. I don't think we had this one. All right, so this is F, E, G, and H. Not sure if we showed you that already, but I'm going to go through these very quickly. Again, I love this one. This is really cool. Very, very cool. Looks like a church up there. Some sort of place you can buy some stuff. This is nice. You got a bath here, bedroom here. You got yourself a bunch of plants. That's very, very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, these are we haven't seen yet. A fountain in the middle of the city. Yeah. And this is letters. Oh, maybe we did NBAC. Yeah, we did see that maybe. Or maybe it's just it's the same islands, but again, they're just different part of the city. That could be what they're doing as well. Because I know we did see the ABC. Oh, it is. No, so I was right when I was saying they did give you, for the Kickstarter, they did give you an additional set of extra tiles. All right, so there you go. So they give you an extra tile set. That's cool. So here we go with the small tiles. Now, the small tiles, as you can tell here, are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 5s. So I'll give you a tile on one side, the other side. Again, you got that fog. And I like the fact that every tile is labeled. So when you're going to be setting up when you're going to be going through the rule book and going through your different adventures, you're going to be looking for certain tiles. So I'm glad that they're so clearly labeled. I really like that a lot. And we got another tile. Another tile. So that's really cool. Again, these tiles are very, very nice thick cardboard, highest of quality possible. Really, really awesome. Yeah, so sometimes they do that. Example, if you back some of the, if you've backed any of the zombie side, they'll give you a tile set. Well, the tile set's the exact tiles that are inside the core box set, which you can use as just to expand on the city itself, make things a little bit more interesting. So I'm assuming they're allowing you to do that as well in here, because when you have the town side up, you're obviously not going to have the may not have the islands all set up at the same time, but then again you may. So I'm not quite sure. Again, we're going to have to work our way through this game to find out. Again, the colors really, really pop really well on these. Again, they're beautifully done. Really, really very impressive tiles. Looks like we have some flames or something going on here, something burning up. Very cool. A bridge there, it looks like. Another room to add on. A gaping hole. Some statues, maybe a burial ground. Ah, your landing spot. Very, very cool. Looks like maybe even some cells right there. Again, now we have the temple. So again, it's varying as to the locations. Again, when you go through your adventure books, they will tell you which tiles you're going to be using and what they're going to be used for. And all the different things when you look at the tile, like the red lines, all that stuff is explained to you in the rule book, whether it's passable terrain, impassable terrain, can't shoot around it, however they're going to be doing it. Again, you see the squares on there as well, highlighted there. Again, over here as well. So it's probably impassable terrain where certain parts you can pass through, other parts where you cannot pass through or cannot shoot through. Most likely is what I'm seeing. And then, of course, you have this as well. Then we have this. Another one. And again, these tiles here, I'm not sure if they are duplicates or, yep, looks like again from that tile set. Yeah, these are all duplicates again. So you get a bunch of duplicates. Again, with the Kickstarter, they also added an extra set of tiles, all the tiles. So they were in an individualized bag. Very cool. But I'll have to go through them. I'll have to definitely go through them because some of them look like they are not. Like this one here, I don't remember seeing these. But they're, so again, they are repeating tiles, as you can tell. They are. Yep, there's a big gaping hole again. There's the ship where the so that's cool. Again, when you back Kickstarters, again, I did not back this Kickstarter, but when you back Kickstarters, oftentimes they'll throw in extra things just to sweeten the deal when you're backing a Kickstarter. So an extra tile set could do it, or because I personally don't usually, when I get the Kickstarters, I don't get I'll get maybe the neoprene mat, but I don't get the actual extra tile sets because you don't necessarily need them. Okay. And with any type of, you get some, what would a pirate game be without getting some kind of coinage? So let's just take a look at a couple of these up close. Now these are big, 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 thick coins. So it looks like we have gold, bronze pieces. Looks like we got some gold pieces. Got some silver pieces. So it looks like you got gold, silver, and bronze, which is cool. So you got a bag full of money, honey. Put those up here. And you also get some decks of cards. Looks like you also have some additional add-on characters here as well. Oh, looks like that guy got flattened pretty good in the bag. All right, we're gonna have to put them in some hot water and straighten them out. We'll get back to them because it looks like those are additional add-ons. So let's put that to the side for a second. Let's get through the core set here, and then we'll get to those. All right, so we have some cards here as well. Gonna have to open them up off camera. I've got to use a blade, and the reality is that you know that I always cut things off camera just in case I slip with the knife. No one needs to see that. All right, so let's take a look at our first deck of cards. Ooh, looks like we got a bunch of weapons here. So let's turn these cards over here. So we got 3 that look like that, and you got the rest that look like this. So obviously these are going to be different items that you can have. You got a musket, a blowgun, a sword, retractable blade, rum, potion, a dagger, a grenade, a blunderbuss, an axe. Okay, so let's just take a look at these. So all these are set up exactly the same way. Obviously the point costs are on top here. You have the picture of the weapon itself, of course the title of it, and then looking at your icons here, it tells you how you can use it. So a musket, obviously it's a two-handed weapon. Also you can only see, so you got the 2 hands on there, so it's a two-handed weapon. So I'm assuming if it's a sword, yep, it only has the 1 hand on it. And of course when you use it, how many shots you get, and of course you get the 1 shot with the musket. It can cause up to 2 damage, and the range is 5. So It tells you right on the cards how they're used. Of course, this would tell you it's hand to hand and causes 2 points of damage when you're injured. Yep. And then when you get something like this, it'll tell you on the bottom here, use it to recover all your destiny points. Discard after using. So, potion, use it to discard up to 2 wounds, discard after using, so it's a one-time usage. Then you got your daggers and things of that nature. So those are weapon cards. You got just a couple of these cards. Not sure what these are. Sea Abominations, Fog, and a Merchant Vessel. So 3 different types of things that you can. This is obviously with the sea, so obviously things that you're going to run into. So Sea Abomination, it says fighting capacity 2, 4 to 6. You're boarded by abominations that will fight until they destroy all of everybody on your pirate ship. Gotcha. Fog, place any enemy event 2 squares away until the end of the day and lower the morale by 2. Okay, then we got a merchant vessel. A merchant vessel desperately tries to outsail you while your men speculate what they'll spend their booty on. Okay, so that's 3 of those cards. And then we got this deck here. Looks like we're going to have some more weapons here. So let's take a look here. Got some more weapons that I'm appearing. Yep. All right, so you got a pistol, a gun. Okay, so we know it's a one-handed weapon. We know so it gives you 2 wounds and a range of 3 spaces. All right, so a rifle has more range than a pistol does. And remember, it's a one-handed weapon, so you can have a sword in one hand and a pistol in the other. You can do that. A pistola. All right, so then we have all these cards here, which appear to be island cards. Things you might be running into. Snakes. Some hours go by. Ambush. Tarantula. Tormenting visions. Net trap. Coin purse. Find some treasure. Spike trap. Some rum. Some rope. Some potion. Some food. Abandoned weapons. An old map. The Fortune Idol. Amulet of Imaya, Davy Jones's pistol, Drake's hat, twin swords, and Columbus compass. I'm assuming that these are for the different, noticing that those titles were in the adventures that you're going to be going on. So I'm assuming those are special weapons or special finds for those individual items here. So let's take a look at each card. Backs are all the same. Let's take a look at the front here. It says here we've got that's a snake. So it says beat an agility 5 roll or receive 1 wound. So these are possibly event cards that we have here. All right, so we saw all those. Put those down here like this. So you got a bunch of event cards, and then we got, it looks like another deck of event cards as well. So there's different things that your crew may have to overcome. Oh, just looks like 2 there. Then we got some more here. Oh, we got some more of those blue cards, which is for the ship cards. Okay, cool. So let's take a look at these real quick. Mermaid Flesh. Precious Gem. Waters of Youth. And we have, it looks like a jewel. So let's see what it says here. At the end of the adventure, if you've kept it, roll 1d6. 3 to 6, you receive 25 extra coins. 1 to 2, bad luck, it's fake. So that's cool. I like that. So it tells you, so it's going to tell you if you need to roll a die to see what's going on here. So discard all your wounds. 1 to 2, receive 1 wound. So you eating some fish, does it agree with you or does it not agree with you? I like that. So that's cool. So that's very cool. So those are some of your event cards. Then you got these ones that look like this. Looks like maybe voodoo cards. I'm not sure. Terror. Yep, clairvoyance. Walk among shadows. Devil's luck. Deathly dream. A voodoo doll. Essence of life. Mantle of darkness. And you have a zombie. So you might be running into some zombies. Again, all the icons are explained to you. Maybe how many, so you got a fist there. It looks like, I'm not sure what these are, so you got to take a look at those. He's got 2 wounds. Obviously, he's close combat, gets 2 attacks, and it can cause 1 point of damage. So let's take a look at this Voodoo Doll. So let's see what we got here. It says this character can raise a zombie if he's adjacent to a human fallen foe token. See the zombie card. All right. Let's see. Terror. Take an intelligence 4 roll. If you succeed, all human enemies on your tile lose 1 turn. Clairvoyance. You can retake a roll, even if it's not your turn. Character can move across squares with adjacent enemies without engaging in combat, close combat. All right, there you go. So those are cool cards there as well. And last but not least, we have these cards here, which appear to be the C card. So, yep, okay, so you're encountering it there. So these are going to be your event cards for when you're on sea. So this is for when you're on land, this is for when you're on sea, these are the weapons, and these are for voodoos. All right, so you got the whale, you got pirate patrons, you have mermaids, mild disease, severe illness, deadly dispute, you have a school of fish, you have stowaways, ghost ship, Coast Guard brigantine. So again, we saw the cards from those. So those are ships you're going to be running into during your traveling on the water. Then you have your whirlpool. You have your storm. You have your ocean downpour. You've got your shark-infested waters. You got a sea monster popping up. You got the scorching sea. You got night terrors. You got the Galilean. You've got rats on board the ship. You've got hitting coral reefs, shipwreck remains. You've got castaways, wind in the sails, and of course you have a desert island and another desert island. See what it says for desert island. You might sight an island that looks deserted. It's a good chance to stock up on provisions. So let's read a couple of different ones here again. A couple quick ones. Boom. Coast Guard brigantine. A Coast Guard brigantine sails towards you. Man the gun. So that means you're going to get in battle. Again, you pull that other card out that I showed you earlier. Let's look at this one real quick. Again, it's the ghost ship. The sky darkens and you spot a phantasmagorical shape. Whoop. Sorry about that. Phantasmagorical shape on the horizon. So also you got to pull that one out again, and you've got to do that. So there you go. Again, those are different event cards for when you are sailing in a ship. All right. Then we have a big bag of miniatures included in this game as well. What would a pirate game be without a bunch of pirate miniatures? All right, so let's take a look at what we got here. So it looks like we have some crabs. That's cool, I like that. So it looks like you get a couple of those. You get 2 of those. You get some additional sea creatures. Come on now. Some more of those sea creatures. So you get 2 of those. Another sea creature. Get 2 of those. Get a guy with a pistol and an axe, or yeah, an axe, 2 axes. Cool. Now these guys are on the smaller scale. I would say they are like 20 millimeter figures. Also, you get a soldier. Oh, looks like you get 3 of those 3-headed hydras. And you get 3 of these guys too. All right. Looks like you only get 2 of the large crabs though. All right. Again, these are small miniatures. Again, I'm going to say they're about 20mm in size. You got Bowman. Again, if I'm going to make if I have a complaint, some of these guys really got bent up because of the way they were packaged, all thrown together in a bag. So again, you're going to need to use a little bit of hot water to bend them back into place. Okay, a guy with a sword and an axe, very cool. Another one of these soldier guys. So we've got a bunch of soldiers. That's going to be one of your heroines right there. She's got the sword and the pistol. Very cool. Oh, got another one of these Hydra guys. So I'll put them in there. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got additional 4 of these soldiers. Additional 4 of them. So it looks like you got 6 of those. Again, it's not often where you get a Kickstarter and characters come without not being in like a plastic box or something. I've got another guy there. So you got 7 of him. All right, just showing you some other guys we got here. Just trying to put them in order here. There's some skeletons. Again, you got some bow guys. Got that little guy. Got this guy. Okay, so we got some skeletons. Got another one of those guys. All right. Again, they're all thrown in the bag. So it appears that the guys who are in the lighter gray are your heroes. So you do have quite a few of these skeletons as well. So I'll show you one up close. You got an armored skeleton. You can always use skeletons, so that's cool. There's another one of skeletons there. I just happen to find them. Another one of these guys here. There's 4 of them, and 2 of the large creatures. And this is one of your female characters. Some of your other leading characters. You may not be able to pick it up on the camera. They're a little bit of a lighter shade of gray. Very cool. I'm trying to get them in here. There you go. I'm trying to get the camera to pop for you. There's that guy there. And you get a bunch of guys that look like this. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Like you have 4 of those guys. A couple of this guy here. Again, he's bent a little forward, which is unfortunate that you got to spend time. That looks like he looks like a mummy. So that could be possibly a mummy. You are going into a tomb, so we have a bunch of, which I showed you one before, but I'll show you them again. You have a bunch of archers also. So you got 4 of those, and they're all bent up, so I got to put them in hot water. There's another guy. So it looks like you got 6 of those. And I showed you this guy before as well, but I'll show it to you again. Another small little guy like this. Looks like a little imp of some kind. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like you get 6 of each of the minor characters, and some of the larger characters. You get only 1 of them. So if it looks to me, you get a total of, if I can find them, see, I gotta put them all again. All right, so those are all of your figures that are included in the core box set. You had the extra set of tiles as well. And then we also had a couple of extra things that were added in as included as well. So again, we have more of these cards, which are more of this items that you can find. So you can find a regular chicken, parrot, a monkey, a cobra, tinkered leg, grappling hook, smoke bomb, bandolier, a net, shovel, cleaver, frying pan, hidden pistol, palo de trapo, triple dagger, a tinkered hook, a whip, a hand cannon, a double-barreled gun, and you got some blanks so you can make up your own, which is always cool too when they do that. But again, if you want to put some other kind of weapons in there, you want to put a couple of other things that happen on board the ship, you could make your own. So they put a couple of those in there as well, which is always cool. But then you also again have that it says a Churchill sword. Let's take a look. It looks like it's a chainsaw. Add +1 to your rolls against supernatural enemies. So these are high-end weapon there. And then you have the giant wave. A giant wave moves your ship 5 squares in the direction the compass is pointing at. Roll 1d6. If you roll 1 or 2, you receive 1 impact on your sails. All right, that's cool. Again, these are their blanks. And of course, you also include your additional special weapons and some animals that you're going to find in your event cards and your weapon cards. And you get a nice baggie for that. And it looked like we had another bag with a couple of extra special things in it, which I mentioned here earlier today. So it's probably going to be an additional characters that you can play, because whenever you back a Kickstarter, they always give you a couple extra characters that you can play. So let's see what we got here. We have a Freedman. Again, it's all set up the same way as the previous cards. All your icons are explained to you, the different rounds, and then your fighter, freedom hunter, harpoon on a chain. What his weapon of choice is. And again, tells you about the character itself and the actions that he can do on any given turn. And then you have the witch, the backside of her as well. When she revives a character, add +3 to her unconscious roll. Mistress of the Winds, it says. Again, her action she can choose. She has a magic totem, Mistress of the Winds, staff, 8 totem cards that go with her. So I'm assuming we have the 8 cards. So these are her cards right here, which have her picture on it, which is always very clever. Very cool. And it looks like you got 2 more specialty weapons. That's a staff and the harpoon. So the harpoon goes to this gentleman here. That's his starting weapon. And this here, which is a staff, is her starting weapon. And then she has her spell cards, which we have here. Eagle Totem. Eagle's Flight, leap without taking a roll. Okay, Bear Totem, +1 wound in close combat. Snake Totem, you can break away without taking a roll. You have Shed Skin, you can discard 1 wound. You have Wolf Totem, you can move through occupied squares without asking for permission. And here it says here, the Wolf's Hunt, double your AP this turn. So I'm not sure what that 3 means down there, but we're gonna have to figure that out because each one of the cards has a number of 3 down there. So we're gonna have to read the instructions, see how to use those. And then unfortunately, again, we got 2 more guys here that appear to be bent beyond recognition. Again, this is your harpoon guy, which is your freedman. And you also have her, who is the mistress of the wind. So we'll put those guys over here real quick, lay them down. Again, these are everything that I just went over. These are your add-on characters. So I'll just put this over here, the witch as an add-on character, and her cards, and the freedman, which is also an add-on card as well. So everything you see here is included and concludes our unboxing of the Kickstarter first edition Skull Tales. Again, we showed you the complete core box set, the extra set of tiles, the 2 additional characters, and a couple extra cards that came along as well. But everything else you see here is part of the core edition of the first edition of the board game Skull Tales. Skull Tales, again, it's for 1 to 4 players. It's for ages 14 plus. Takes about 120 minutes to play. Brought to you by Moon Studios and Radical Games. For more information, go to radicalgames.com. And as always, thank you so much for joining me for this unboxing video. It's truly appreciated. If you enjoyed the video, you can give us a thumbs up, leave a comment below. You could also hit that subscribe button. This way you're kept up to date as to any time we release new content. As always, thank you so much for joining us. Be safe, be well. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch you on the next unboxing video.